Hey everyone, I'm AI Monic, back again while the real Monic gets ready to jump in. Hope you had a great weekend and are ready to get back into the swing of things. Welcome to day 6 of the 12 Days of Christmas Live series. By now you can probably tell, every day just keeps getting better than the last. New features dropping, new platform products rolling out, and capabilities stacking fast. If you've been following along, your internal changelog is probably a few pages deep at this point. Today, we're launching something I think you're going to be very excited about. And if you missed the start of all this, make sure you go back and watch day 1. That's where we launched the first ever agentic SEO platform. Software that doesn't just suggest what to do, but actually plans and executes. Everything you've seen since then builds on that foundation. If today's your first session, welcome. You're jumping in at a great time. If you've been here all week, you already know these lives are not to miss. While we wait to get started, drop your questions in the chat. Product questions, strategy questions, or anything you want clarity on, I'll keep track so Monic can hit them live. It's another Monday and the start of another strong week ahead. Get settled. Day 6 is about to go live.
All right, guys, welcome back. Wrong camera. There we go. Perfect. I hope you guys had a great weekend and came to Monday to this new week recharged. It is Christmas week, but that's not going to stop us from launching a bunch of new products. So today is going to be no different than the other days. We got some real fire and sizzle to give you guys, especially for those of you that are focused on the enterprise clients that we work with, as well as e-commerce brands, okay? It is something that is deeply underappreciated in SEO, and at the same time is incredibly powerful. We've been having to do this manually with a lot of our enterprise clients, and we've been looking for a way to do it in a more automated fashion. It has application across all industry verticals for local businesses, e-commerce brands, hospitality sector, restaurants, review sites, pretty much every major industry on the internet. So what are we talking about? Well, you guys know we got to do the Vestaboard reveal. So on the 6th day of Search Atlas, what do we have for you? Let's check out the Vestaboard. Here we go. There it is. Auto page specific schema and real-time crawl logs in Search Atlas Brain. Okay, so let's talk about it. So page specific schema, what this really represents is the ability for Search Atlas to analyze your web pages and determine what schema actually can be put on these pages. What the way the product works is auto analyzes an individual web page and it understands the full context around that page. What information is present, what entities exist, what the page is about. It has your first party data in Search Console and GA4. It also understands what type of structured data is out there that could exist on this page to represent that information clearly to machines. So this is not just about markup. What schema represents is a pre-computed understanding. So when Google or a large language model look at the page, they have to infer the structure. What is the page? What is the business? What is the service that this business is offering? What are its web entities, the components of it? What social media assets are related to this website? And how do those all bridge together? What is the relationship between all of the parts and pieces of this website and the brand? And that inference step is actually quite expensive and it's slow. And not having this information on the page increases the cost of information retrieval from our sites for search engines. With page-specific schema, we get to do all that work ahead of time. We pre-compute the information structure of the web page and we express it explicitly in the form of structured data. And then we show it to you. So you get to see what information we want to deploy to the site. Inside Auto, you can actually see the schema that we want to deploy. You can audit it, you can modify it, you can restructure it. And soon you'll be able to add new types of schema if you want to add a one that we didn't detect on the page. And you ultimately get to decide what goes live. And here's where this really starts to matter. There are over 1,000 different schema types, okay? 1,000 different schema types. And there are new schema types that get created over time as new industries emerge, as new structure emerges for the way that websites on the internet can connect to other entities and represent their information in a structured format. The spec for schema.org increases. Ain't nobody got time to check that spec. It's a really boring list of schema, and most people don't even really know all of them, right? And for a good reason, there's just too many different types. Some of the most common types that are used include organization and local business schema, but that we've already had in Auto for a while. But there's also product and offer schema, article and blog posting schema, review and aggregate rating, FAQ page, how-to schema, service schema, schemas for media on the web page, like videos and images, and many, many, many more. Most websites don't use any schema at all, but the sites that do, maybe they use just one or two. And it's not because teams are oblivious or they don't care. It's because managing schema historically has been a nightmare, okay? It's manual and it's hard-coded into the page most of the time. A developer that gets an instruction from an SEO will write it and build it and put it into the page. It gets saved into the CMS and then it never gets touched again. But the site's content changes, the prices change, the reviews change, images can change or new images can be added. Services get added and change all the time. And schema quietly becomes outdated. Because schema is not visible on the web page, it often goes unnoticed by teams as they're auditing and working on their websites. And that outdated schema can live on a web page for years and become part of the growing technical debt of a website. So to put this in perspective, let's just talk about scale, okay? There are now over 50,000 sites powering themselves through Auto and the Search Atlas platform's technology. Many of them are large brands that have tens or hundreds of thousands of web pages, including major publications. And when you have hundreds of thousands of pages, being able to deploy and audit a site like this and deploy schema is practically impossible. In total, Auto is managing hundreds of millions of web pages on the internet today. And the time that this saves, honestly, it's hard to calculate, but we can try to estimate it conservatively. If a team wanted to deploy 8 to 10 unique schema types per page and do this properly, it would take a minimum of 30 minutes per page to do the analysis, to do the selection, to do the structuring, and then the implementation on the website, and then finally validation. On a site with just 5,000 pages, that is between 2,000 and 4,000 hours of work. That is 1 to 2 full-time employees working on this day in, day out for an entire year. And here's the key part. Teams almost never revisit schema after its initial implementation, which means it's going to quietly decay while the site continues to evolve and grow. And this problem becomes truly catastrophic in environments like e-commerce, when you're talking about very large websites with a lot of pages. And we can actually talk about that further. We can actually go into e-com specifically as a use case. There's some of the most schema-intensive environments on the internet. A single store will include product pages. It's going to include category pages, collection pages, pages about the brand and the authorship around the entity, offer pages, pricing pages, FAQ pages dedicated to the products as well as to the brand, review pages, and support content. Now, each of these pages supports different types of schema. On a product page alone, you might need to have, of course, the product schema. There's also product variant schema, offer schema, aggregate rating schema, review schema, of course, breadcrumb list, you should have that. Then also image object and video object schema, if you've got videos on the page, of course. And possibly there's even more. So not to include, obviously, the organization and authorship schema that should be on the page. Now, in the real world, what actually happens is prices will change, but the offer schema does not. And reviews may be added, but the aggregate rating is frozen in time. Images can update visually, but schema still references old URLs. Product variants exist, but schema only reflects a generic product. Category and collection pages maybe have no schema on them at all. So we saw this in our work with our clients repeatedly on e-commerce stores with tens of thousands of SKUs. And it was nearly impossible for them to manage schema alongside a product catalog that just continues to grow and evolve. So that was the moment that we really realized that we needed to work on this, that schema was being fundamentally underutilized and also mishandled. Because with schema, remember, what it's really doing is it's making our content easier for machines to understand. I also believe that schema serves as a quality signal that shows LLMs and search engines that this page is a high quality page. It helps them understand. It helps large language models understand. Effectively, we're pre-computing that structured data for the page. We've seen that deploying this kind of schema at scale significantly increases the total number of ranking keywords. In our auto impact analysis, where we took 22,000 sites, these sites had Google Search Console connected, so we can actually see what happened when they deployed a fix in auto inside Search Console to the rankings. And what we saw is that schema was very strongly correlated with an over 100% increase in total ranking keywords. This is not theoretical. Now, we can also look at other industries beyond e-com. There are a lot of affiliate sites that have review content on them. Review sites are right now, they're kind of being hit, but they really depend on trust, clarity, and structure. These sites have a lot of different types of content. They have opinions, ratings, product comparisons, vendor comparisons. They've got author pages. They've got verdicts on what is the best set of products for a given year or in a different market. Now, all those different page types, Auto is able to distinguish between each of them. Schema here is going to include review schema. You're going to see aggregate rating schema on it. You're going to see product schema. You're going to see article or blog posting schema as well. Person schema and author schema, especially when these writers are well-known entities online. Of course, you want to see organization schema as well. And you need to generate the schema that matches to the page. This matters more than ever, where review content is heavily scrutinized and is becoming easier to produce. Local businesses as well. This is an area where Auto already been serving this need and doing this at scale for over a year now. There's over 200 distinct local business schema subtypes defined on schema.org. Most tools only support two, organization and local business. Auto supports all of them. So that's going to include businesses that are, let's say, medical specialties to law practices, home service niches, hospitality, automotive, and so many more. Auto already manages business types specifically and gives address and geodata, their hours of operation, services, what services they offer, includes the reviews on the entity, and also, of course, the organization schema components that link up the different parts of the web entity, the same as schema. And now we're extending that same level of intelligence down to the page. So it's no longer just saying this is a business, it's saying this page represents this service at this location for this audience. So that level of precision really changes a lot for local search. There's even structured data for other industries like real estate, healthcare, automotive dealerships, aviation, hospitality, events, news, and online courses, and even for SaaS companies. So now I want to talk about why this matters even more today than it did 5 years ago. Because now, in this AI search age, large language models are consuming the content of the web. These LLMs and systems, they're not perfect crawlers. They don't even do a lot of HTML processing. They don't render HTML pages fully. And so that creates for them a lot of issues where information that's not even visible can actually influence the LLMs. They're less tolerant of ambiguity, and Schema in this context makes these sites far more machine readable for AI agents. LLMs prefer explicit structure immediately. Schema reduces the cognitive load for these machines. It reduces the guessing. It also reduces the hallucination risk. And it also increases the quality of our web documents. 5 years ago, it was a nice to have. It did help. We knew that. But I would say today, it is foundational infrastructure for AI readability. And this is where Auto and the Search Atlas platform and this feature we're launching today, it's fundamentally different from static schema generators or CMS plugins. Most tools that we've tested and we've used, they're incomplete, they are template based, they are not page specific, they are not content and context aware, they do not bring in first party data, they're static and they're brittle. If you make a small mistake, the entire schema will break, and they don't analyze the page, they don't understand any context, and they don't evolve as the content changes. Okay, so this is a dynamic solution. It's highly scalable and it's fully AI powered, and it's available to you guys all today, requiring very minimal actual manual effort to just do the review. Okay. And of course, most importantly, it can be one-click deployed once you approve it. And you can also revise and recalculate it as the site and the content changes. Okay. So let's have a look at this technology now with my friend Arman. Arman, let me welcome you to the stage. Here we go. Arman, what's up?
What's up, Monik? How you doing, man? Super excited for this update. It's been a long time coming. It's been in the roadmap for quite some time.
Yes, it has.
And it's one of those, I think you called it out too, like Schema is the unsung hero. It's the underappreciated difference that makes a difference, right? And a lot of times people use, to your point, templatized schema and just auto apply it to their pages. But dynamic schema, mapping schema that reflects the substance and the most important points of a page, that's really where the value is. And doing it manually on large scale websites has never been something anyone looks forward to.
No.
So this solution is honestly huge. One other thing that we didn't actually talk about is an update to our site auditing infrastructure as well that shows people a real-time record of the crawl of the domain as it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So this actually ties into Auto because the site auditor is the backbone of kind of what we do in Auto as well. So if you guys already have a Search Atlas project, if you already have a site connected to Auto or site auditing, you can actually now come in here and trigger a recrawl of your website and actually watch the live updates happen in real time. So let's actually go ahead and do that. In here, I just triggered a recrawl. I'm going to do this for 2 domains. Go ahead and recrawl both of them. And now you'll see when you set up a live crawl, or when you trigger a recrawl, you'll get live crawl logs that will open up in here. There's also a quick link directly to take you to the project. And this table right here at the top of your site auditing overview screen will actually show you a real-time crawl analysis page by page of all of the URLs that are discovered on the site. It'll also show you the status codes of those URLs, right? So as this crawl is happening, you can see, is this page returning a 200 code? Is it a 404? Is it a 301 redirect? Are there pages on my site that I forgot existed? I know that happens all the time. So this is a really quick and easy way to kind of see that data in real time as it processes.
Yeah. Before you didn't really know what it was doing while it was crawling. How far are we through
Exactly.
the site? What is it? What has it indexed? What is it seeing? And sometimes it's useful when you're watching that crawl data happening to know where it's going, because you might see it's actually indexing a bunch of pages that you didn't even realize were on the site, and you might need to change your your URL exclusion parameters in the crawler to avoid pages that are low quality, that are kind of wasting a bunch of the crawl budget of the crawler. So here you can see once the crawler gets it in the queue and it goes through the page, you see the URL that it's on, and then a timestamp, and then the status code appear. And as it processes the pages, you'll see them appear in a list. So it's a big, I think, quality of life improvement for people that are running a
Yes.
lot of audits and working on a lot of projects inside the platform, just knowing where are we in the crawl that's going on.
Yeah, honestly, I think for a lot of people, this is going to reveal some cobwebs in the CMS, right? Some URLs that you forgot, some test pages. Every site, if you're using WordPress, for example, you're going to get a page that's like /hello-world, right? That's like one of the stock pages that you get out of the WordPress CMS. And I can't tell you how many times people forget those pages are there, or /test or /internal landing page 3 or whatever the case is. And oftentimes these things get forgotten about and they get discovered in your crawl, they get indexed, and all of a sudden you have pages on your site stealing value or stealing equity from your money pages. So I would love if everyone actually triggered a recrawl and actually looked at their real-time crawl logs and get a sense for, what really represents your website. Beautiful.
Well put. I love the way you said that. The cobwebs in the website, especially when it's a
Yeah.
site that you're crawling for the first time and you haven't crawled it before. Because a lot of times there's just a lot of technical debt in there. And you'll start to see it indexes tag pages and date pages and author pages.
Exactly.
And you kind of look at it and you're like, yuck, those pages should not be on the website.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, I also don't think even knew about the Page Explorer, right? Where you can actually go and see all the pages that are crawled in the website and actually even look at that. So it also kind of helps because as it crawls the site, you're just going to see the feed of the URLs appear directly in this real-time crawl log.
Yeah, actually, and that's a great call out. So every page that's represented here mirrors a page explorer URL here as well. So if you actually wanted to click into the page explorer and then click into a page, for example, like the About Us page, now we get a full, like the most forensic breakdown analysis of what is going on with this page. Is it indexable? Are the HTTPS protocols resolving? What is the status code? Is it in my sitemap? How long does it take to download? Right? We have all of our core metrics here. We start analyzing the HTML and the structure of the page. It's connected to Search Console, so we know the performance, positions, and click-through rates. I mean, we could even look at internal links. We could look at external links,
internal
right?
links. Like that's cool because
Exactly.
incoming internal links show you which internal pages are linking to this page. That is really cool. You can't get that from like a point and shoot audit. You have to actually crawl the whole site in order to see which pages are linking to your page, because you have to see those internal links on those other pages from the crawler in order to present them here. So it's actually really useful to know that information.
Absolutely. And, similar to how you can connect Google Search Console, you can also connect Google Analytics. So you can actually look at what is the economic value of this page, right? Like how many users hit it? What's the bounce rate? If you're an e-commerce store, what's the revenue associated with this? If you're selling things on your page, how many purchases were made here? So this type of analysis, when you connect your first party data, really allows you to focus on, I have a site that has 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 pages, but where do I make my money? Where should I focus my efforts? Where do I need to win? These types of analyses are really now possible when you connect first party data on top of the crawl records.
For sure. And then you see schema here as well on the right. And that's auditing the existing schema on the page. But obviously with auto, we're going to show you that in a second, how we deploy more schema to the site. And if you guys are running WordPress with the WordPress plugin, which we demoed on Friday, or you're running the Cloudflare integration, those changes are all taking place server side. So they'll appear even if you don't enable JavaScript rendering in the site audit crawl. Arman, could you also show them that JS rendering feature in the site audit settings? Because I think a lot of people don't even know that's there.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're crawling a site for the first time, so say I'm over here on my list of all audits and I want to crawl like searchatlas.com as an example. When I click audit site, I have my short filters, like how many pages do I want to crawl? How frequently do I want to run the crawl? But if we click the show more here, then we have this ability to turn on JavaScript rendering. So when the site is being analyzed, we're actually processing the JavaScript that's on that page. And that's what's enabling us to see exactly what, for example, Googlebot sees when it processes the page, the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript.
Yeah. And what the thing about that, you should not enable this unless this site actually needs it, because it will slow down the crawl. And when you set the setting for your crawler, it's going to do this on every subsequent crawl. Where you need to do this are sites where, number one, if you're using the auto pixel, we enable it for you automatically because we know you need this to be enabled to see those changes, like Googlebot sees them. But if you're using the WordPress plugin or the Cloudflare integration, and you're not running a single page web application that's client-side rendered, you don't need this to be enabled. But we're showing it to you here so you guys understand that it's there. Make sure if you're crawling our sites that you're managing with auto in the pixel, make sure whatever crawl you're running that you have JavaScript rendering enabled so you can see all of those changes. Again, if you're using WordPress, our plugin, or you're using Cloudflare, you don't need to have it enabled because it's server-side rendered anyways. Okay?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, but again, this is an example of another site, right? The Signal Genesis website. When we're looking at the crawl log, we can see there's most of the pages are returning a status code of 200, which is what we should expect. But we're seeing here that there are URLs that have been redirected. We're seeing here that there are URLs that are 404ing. So at a glance, now I'm able to see, like, again, where should I focus? What are the pages that need my attention? And then very quickly either go into the page explorer or go into the corresponding auto project to actually filter by URL, grab that URL, and literally fix everything that's wrong with it.
Yeah, even before the crawl finishes, just seeing some of those date pages, you see those right there, that 2025, November 24th. Immediately I know, like, okay, so this site probably has that annoying WordPress feature where it creates date pages for some of the blogs, and we got to go and kill those. You also see the redirects, and that's important to see that too, because pages like that. So there's a 404 on the site. We also know that there are redirects that we can repair, and so it's a kind of a good. Even before you dive into auto and all the rest of the data, you immediately get a feel for the technical issues on the website. So it is a nice thing to keep up in a screen while the site's running, while you're working on, your engagement, working on some other task, I would say.
Very much agree. Beautiful. Okay, let's dive into the actual page-specific schema. So I'm going to show you guys two websites here. So this is going to be inside of Auto version 3, looking at the Recovery Path Marketing website. When we scroll down here to the left-hand panel, we see the on-page optimization modules. And we have this section in here that's titled Schema Markup. So if you've used Auto in the past, when you clicked on Schema Markup, you were only presented with one type of schema at the time, and that was this top one here, which was the domain level or the organization level schema. So that section is still here. We did not remove it. It's still right here. And to Monic's point, when you hit the drop-down menu right here, guys, you actually see literally over 100, I think it's actually 200 unique types of schema that map to various types of businesses. So we don't have to limit ourselves to the generic local business or the generic organization level. We have all of these very specific schema types that are meant to map to the most popular types of businesses on the internet, right? So if you already have schema deployed, you'll see a status like this where it says it's found and there's no issues with it, and that schema has already been deployed. And we can hit the preview button and we can take a look at the schema right here. Now, one thing that's really important to call out, if you guys are using the schema markups in Search Atlas, you'll see this all throughout the application, is we're saying the knowledge graph is used to build the underlying information or the underlying data about your business, and it's filling that into the necessary fields in the structured data. So what does that mean for you as a user? That means before you go through and create a ton of schema, you should first review your knowledge graph here at the top and make sure that all of your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. You can fill all of this information by clicking this button, autofill with AI. But if there's elements that are missing, like business information, business address, social media links, authors, videos, like this is your opportunity to further enhance the quality of the schema by enhancing your knowledge graph, because that business context is going to be applied to all of the schema markup modules. So definitely make sure you have your knowledge graph as complete as possible.
Yes, and not to mention for press releases and cloud stacks and local citations and all the other parts of the platform. So definitely pays to do that work once. You never have to do it again, and you get to recycle all that effort across the entire ecosystem of the platform.
Absolutely.
So now, Arman, take us
Beautiful.
into some of the page level schemas that we now have access to.
Absolutely. So at the top, we have the domain level schemas. The second table here is actually the page level schema. So what this is showing us here on the left-hand panel is the page path, right? Like what is the URL that we're analyzing here? So this would be the home page, privacy, service pages, etc. Then we have this page type, which very clearly is saying, what type of page is this? Is this a home page? Is it a product page? Is it a collection page, a contact page, a thank you page? What type of page are we looking at? Based off the page type and the content on that page, we then recommend one or more schemas that could be applied to that page. So for example, if we look at the home page or we look at the service page, we'll say on the home page or on this URL path, the page type equals home, and there are 3 potential schemas to deploy here. What it's showing me here is the first type of schema, which is an image object schema. It's saying on the site, we already found this page. We already found this schema on this page, and there's nothing wrong with it. So the schema exists, and the schema is set up correctly. So we don't need to edit it, and we don't need to deploy it. Same thing's happening here for the FAQ. It's saying there is FAQ schema. It's here. It's error-free. You're good to go. And then the bottom one is saying, here's an additional suggested type of schema. This is what that schema is. And if we want to deploy it, first we preview it, then we generate that schema. Again, we get that reminder that the information is coming from the knowledge graph. We have a quick link here to go and edit or improve that knowledge graph. And then the system will generate the schema based off of that particular page, right? It then presents that schema to us, allows us to review, edit, or tweak it, and then it actually deploys the schema as well, right? So that's the idea here. We generated the schema. If we're happy with it, we can just go ahead and deploy it. We could regenerate it, or we could hit the edit button, and we could change any of these fields. Now, what's really important to note about the editing feature is we've put some guardrails in place, meaning schema has to follow what's known as structured data. That's what schema is. So there are certain fields that cannot be modified. For example, this field where it says description or URL, we can't edit the actual definition of the field. We can only edit the value of the field. So this makes sure that you don't unintentionally delete something, part of the schema, that is required to make it validate, right? But you can edit it. For example, if that's not the right phone number, you can edit the phone number, right? But you can't edit the field that says telephone, right? So there's
really
enough
nice.
guardrails
So
in here to make sure that you don't make those. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So
That
that's the
was
way
easy.
the schema. That always cracks me up, dude. I love those. Cool. So I'll just open up a few of these here, and we can see different types of examples. So this is what I wanted to show you here. Sometimes we have a page. The page has schema. So this image object schema exists on this page, but the existing schema is either inaccurate, broken, or needs to be fixed before we resync that change. So if you've already used a schema creation tool, or you've been using schema manually, this tool will also audit the quality of the existing schema and let you know what's wrong with it, what do we need to fix, we can then make that fix in here and then redeploy a repair to the existing schema, right? So it's really doing several things concurrently. It's validating the schema you already have. It's suggesting net new schemas for you to add. And then it's saying the schema that you have, if it's broken or missing fields, let's go ahead and patch a repair to it so we can make sure that there's quality on everything that we're doing on this site.
That's really cool. I mean, the aspect of also detecting existing schema on the page, like this was very hard for the team because we had to first find the existing schema, we had to validate it, and we had to look at what we're suggesting versus what's there. And if it's not working properly, fix it. So this is like a really robust solution. You can work on sites that already have some schema and know that you're not going to duplicate schema on the page because it's actually already aware of what schema is already on the page and whether that schema is even working properly. So it's not just looking for it, but also repairing it. That is so cool.
Absolutely.
Round of applause for that.
And what's really great, heck yeah. What's really great, like on a site like this one, it's a really small site, right? So it's not like the biggest task in the world for us to go ahead and do this one page at a time. But when we start looking at bigger sites or sites that have significantly more pages that then result in significantly more schema suggestions, 530, it's still a tall order to have the user go through each one of these page by page, right? Which is why we still preserve the concept of bulk actions. So what we can do here, let me just exit out of this. We can come in here and we can say, I want to expand this to top 100 rows, right? Which now is going to encompass all 84 pages on this particular website. So now I have all 100 URLs shown to me in one view. Now I can hit bulk actions, select all of these, right? So I've now selected literally every page on the site. Mm-hmm. And I can say, go ahead and AI generate all of the schema suggestions. Yeah, don't deploy them. Don't deploy them. Let me review them. And just to be clear, Monik, it's 84 pages that represent 530 unique schemas, right? Because one page, like in this example, can have 12 schemas. Mm-hmm. So now the system's generating all 530 of those suggestions. I can go in there once it's done. I can preview it. I can QA it. And then very similar, I can take bulk action, select all, deploy all. So it does not have to take me 6 months to go through a large-scale e-commerce site and edit, optimize, and redeploy new schema.
Huge. So just doing this based on the auto impact analysis, on average, people that deployed the schema types that we had before, which was FAQ schema that we were adding to pages, the NLP same as schema that we deployed to pages, as well as the organization schema, we were seeing a 100%, it was like 110% on average, improvement to total ranking keywords. Also improvement to average keyword position, total search impressions, all those other SEO KPIs as well. Now that we're adding this amount of page-specific schema, I honestly, guys, I don't know like what percentage the gain is going to be from doing this. But think about how much human effort you're putting into the content on these sites. This amount of work is super non-trivial, and there is no algorithmic AI automated solution like this on the market currently as of this day. And so it's kind of hard for us to know the impact that you guys are going to get from this. I cannot wait to see it. So everyone watching this, get in there today, hit that bulk button, generate everything, go through the schemas, deploy them, and then watch what happens to traffic. It's a huge accelerator. It's a huge boost that we can use across all of our client projects. And by the way, clients that understand what this is like mind-blowing for them.
It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. And, a couple other just quick reminders. Before you go gung-ho on schema inside your project, please review your knowledge graph. Please. Like if at the very least you made sure you had your business name, your description, your contact info, your address, your social links, at the very least fill in your knowledge graph as best as you can. If you have to skip things like VAT ID, tax ID, ISO number, totally fine, guys. Most people skip that because most people don't have that information handy. But the other stuff, the business name, the description, the address, the hours, please, please, please make sure you fill in your knowledge graph
Yes.
to get very high quality schema suggestions out of the box. If your knowledge graph is missing, your schema is going to be missing fields, and then you will have to go in and supply those to ensure the schema is as robust as it can be. Whereas if you just fill in your knowledge graph, you're like 90% of the way there.
Yep. And I see in the chat, one person's asking about, does this cost AI credits? So what's the model on that?
Yeah. So the system, when you're generating new suggestions via AI, it does cost AI credits. It's going to pull from your auto pool of credits, right? So depending on what plan you're on, you'll have a pool of AI quotas at your discretion here, right? For example, here, I've used 1,600 out of 100,000 AI generation quotas on my account. So that is using our standard auto AI quota, not the premium quota, not a site quota, but our standard and most generous AI quota generation there for you.
And you get new allotments every month, which means you can work through,
Correct.
A batch of pages, process those, push those, next month continue. And also, you guys know about Search Atlas Brain now. You guys love that. You can do this through Search Atlas Brain, right, Arman?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you can literally come in here, initiate a chat. You can say, go to this website and just ask it a question. Analyze my schema for this project and review the suggestions in my account. And that's it. Now the system will do all of that validation for you, right? It'll say, okay, for this account, let me go look at what schema you already have, what schema is missing, what the suggestions are. Let's QA those suggestions, and then let's deploy those suggestions, right? So you can absolutely use Atlas Brain to go in there and review, deploy, and modify your schema at scale if you don't want to come in here and actually physically click the button or do the review yourself.
Cool. And someone's asking, Arman, that was a lot of AI quota you had in your account. How did they get that much AI quota in their account? Join the team.
Yeah, join the team, upgrade, or go, join one of our sessions and take advantage of our unlimited bonuses, right? Like if you went unlimited during AI Search Summit, you'd have more than 100,000. You'd have unlimited, in which case I'd be asking you, how do you get that many quota, right? So
yeah. Hilarious. No, you wouldn't be cleaning the toilets. Yeah, you would be working with us on the product. You'd be working with us on the product for sure.
Yeah,
But that's
absolutely.
hilarious. Yeah, and big sites
So
are going to have
sweet.
a ton of suggestions for schema. And so what I'd suggest is, if for a huge site, look at your total amount of AI credits in your account. Decide like where do you want to apply those. Also, you guys know at the challenge we had some really awesome offers for we introduced our agency plan, and we gave you a really whopping discount on that as well. And those plans are made to be very generous and give you a lot of AI credits and usage, so you can pretty much go to town in the account and not have to sweat about the quota usage. We're also over time always trying to find ways to give you guys more and more and more quota. On Christmas, foreshadowing, sneak peek, on Christmas we will be doing a live stream. It was a tradition. Last year we did it, and we don't usually launch a product on Christmas. We just give you guys free stuff and announce other things that are just, in the spirit of Christmas and generosity. So we're also looking forward to making some announcements around that on Christmas. So I hope you guys join us for that. It won't be a long stream.
I would say preemptively,
Go ahead.
preemptively warn your families. Be like, hey guys, for at least an hour on Christmas Day, I got to go see what Monic's, giving me for this year, right? So if you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel and you've enabled notifications so you know when we go live, and you can actually go in there, just pop in, claim your free stuff, and then, go back to your friends and family, okay?
Yeah, and Sophia and Ruby will be on as well, so you guys will get to hang out with them. It'll be fun. It won't be an hour. It'll be more like probably 20 to 30 minutes, so nothing too crazy. But for real, like, follow, and subscribe. If you're watching this and you're not already subscribed, go hit that button. Because we got more fire to give you in the other days. See if any other questions we got. Sweet. Terry, you went unlimited and you signed up for the annual pro last week. That deserves
Okay.
airborne. Love that. Love that. It's good. Cool, guys. Arman, anything else you want to show them in Auto and Search Atlas related to this for today's launch?
Related to this, no, but this kind of update doesn't warrant a full 12 days of Christmas update, in my opinion. But just letting you guys know, we have totally re-architected our billing page. So it's never been easier to know what your quota is, what the credits cost, having full detailed records of any top offs, invoices, things like this.
Totally forgot to mention it, and I'm glad you did, because we would not have done a day on this, because honestly, who the F wants to see us drop a new billing page? A new billing page! Whoa!
Right.
But the new billing page, I think you guys are going to like this a lot, because it allows you to really understand all the usage across the platform, all the quotas that you're given on all the plans, and how they're all divided, and also what's recurring, what's non-recurring, what services have you enabled, which ones are one time versus like monthly, and also how's your usage trending. This was a huge need for us. Like, we knew we needed to do this, and so we've been working on it, and we got it ready before Christmas. I'm really thankful for the team for really pushing on this. And the next thing we're going to be giving you guys is quota logging. So you'll be able to see on what date, on what time, which user account did what. So if you're wondering, like, why is it that, we saw AI quota generation, we've used, about 1,500 AI quota so far. Where did that come from? Like, what did we do to do that? You'll be able to see it in the quota logging module. That's not ready yet. Team's going to be working on it next. So just stay tuned. We do hear your feedback on what you guys want around this, and we are listening and we are building. And I hope you guys like the new billing page as well. Any other Easter eggs, Armand, that we didn't give them?
I mean, there's a few, but we got a couple more days here on the event, so
okay,
can't give everything away in one day for sure.
For sure. Today was supposed to be one drop. You guys got 3 today, so I'd say it's a pretty good for a Monday. Tomorrow, and I keep saying this, tomorrow's going to be something really unique and something I'm really excited about. Arman and I and Justin and the team, we've been wanting to drop that with you guys for many, many days now, and tomorrow looks like it's going to be the day. So I want to see you guys back here tomorrow. Arman, thank you for walking us through the product. Really appreciate it. And for everyone else, guys, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. For those of you who are part of the AI Search Summit last week, we had a blast. Over 2,000 people participated in the AI Search Summit. It was a record-breaking summit for us. Also record-breaking from what you guys got out of it, like the amount of work that was done with the agent. The leaderboards were blowing up. We gave away over $10,000 worth of prizes to people, all kinds of cool swag. And also we had like a big impact. I think some things that happened at the challenge day were really kind of really emotionally meaningful to me and the team. And just want to thank you guys who were there. For those of you who did not join us, the next AI Search Summit will be in February, and we will be also doing some smaller workshops focused on like an agency accelerator, an e-commerce accelerator, a local accelerator, local prospecting accelerator. These smaller workshops are going to be kind of more what you see in January, and we'll be announcing more about that. So stay tuned. Until tomorrow, I'll see you guys on the live stream tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us. And this is us over and out. Thanks so much.
See you guys.
I'll give you guys some Christmas music on the way out. Peace.